Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew, and that breaking news is a stabbing on Detroit's west side involving two brothers, both teenagers. Police are looking for one of those young men right now. Local 4's Tim Pamplin on the scene off I-96 and the Southfield Freeway. Tim, what can you tell us?
Well, Karen, what we can tell you, as we park in Glendale to be precise, police have just cleared the scene. A cruiser just took off from here, like you say, looking for that 15-year-old that stabbed his 13-year-old brother. Let's get to the tape. A very busy scene here just a short time ago as Detroit police got the call of a cutting here at a home on Asbury Park. When they arrived, they realized it was a juvenile, a 13-year-old stabbed by his 15-year-old brother. Again, that 15-year-old's on the run. Police are looking for him. We just spoke to the commander. Take a listen.
The 13-year-old was stabbed by his brother over some type of an argument. EMS has taken the 13-year-old to one of the nearby area hospitals. When he left, he had a wound to his abdominal area. So we don't have his condition at this time, so we have units going to get his condition, but he was conscious and talking when he left the scene.
So that's, of course, good news, conscious and talking. Again, police are out now on the west side in the area of Southfield and 96 looking for that 15-year-old brother. That's the scene on the west side. Tim Pamplin, back to you, Karen.
All right, a frightening story. We know you'll keep us posted if things change. Thank you, Tim. We'll check back with you tonight at 5. Also breaking at this hour, that nurse practitioner accused of stealing 2 doses of the COVID vaccine from the TCF Center just appeared before a judge. Saida Ulai is charged with larceny. Prosecutors say she put 2 syringes filled with the Moderna vaccine and 2 vaccination cards in her pocket on Monday. The city says the nurse worked at the TCF Center for weeks and was hired through a staffing agency. Today, she pled not guilty. The judge granted her bond, acknowledging that some doses expire if they are not used. With the coronavirus cases increasing statewide, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan is opening up vaccination appointments to more people. Detroiters aged 50 and older can now call to get vaccinated at the TCF Center. Today, Michigan added 3,164 cases, but no new deaths. The state is also giving an update on where things stand. Hospitalizations and case rates are going up, with Michigan now seeing a more than 5% positivity rate. Another concern is the highly contagious UK variant. Michigan has 725 cases. That's 15% of all cases reported. Nationally, more than half of those variant cases have been found in prisons.
We are hopeful that as we get more and more vaccines into the state and more people vaccinated, we will not see the type of surge that we saw in 2020. But I still think we are at risk. And again, with these new variants that are more easily transmitted, and potentially the vaccine is not as effective, still effective, but potentially not as effective for some of them, that we still have this ongoing public health risk.
So nearly 25% of Michiganders 16 and older have been given 1 dose of the coronavirus vaccine. Michigan is 9th in the nation for people fully vaccinated. Well, from local parishes to local pubs, many of you may have spent part of your day celebrating St. Patrick's Day. The Sharon of the Green masses have returned to Detroit's Corktown after a 1-year hiatus. There's also a mass tonight at 6 at the Most Holy Trinity Parish, which is new this year. We've also seen people braving pandemic restrictions to celebrate at spots like the Old Shillelagh in Greektown. Now remember, masks are required and there are capacity limits. We're seeing more cool sunshine on our St. Patty's Day, but we are on the lookout for some wind and some rain. Let's bring in Ben Bailey. He's standing by with our first forecast. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, Karen, things are going to change dramatically for tomorrow, but as long as you're in at a respectable hour tonight, you should avoid it if you're out celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Mid to upper 50s is where we sit right now. Plenty of sunshine, and that will carry through to the end of the day. There's not much of a wind out there right now, but there will be tomorrow. This system is going to be bringing us rain, and it's going to be bringing us wind. And the direction is going to be from the northeast. For that reason, there are lakeshore flood advisories out all up and down the east side from Sanilac down to Wayne County. Monroe, you're under a lakeshore flood warning. This is where we expect that flooding to be significant in spots and likely with some of those gusts reaching 40 to 45 miles per hour tomorrow. So here's how the overnight looks. We'll be into the 30s as that rain arrives. This should be all liquid for the most part. We'll tell you who gets hit with the drops and who doesn't in just a few minutes, Karen.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Investigators say a deadly shooting spree in the Atlanta area does not seem to be racially motivated, but they also say there is more work to be done. 8 people were shot dead inside 3 massage parlors Tuesday evening. Devin Skillion in the newsroom tracking the latest information from law enforcement. Devin?
Yeah, Karen, police say the suspect in this case is 21-year-old Aaron Long and that he acted alone and was quickly taken into custody. Quickly relative terms given the damage that was done first. Because several victims, though, were Asian, many wondered if race had played a role in the crimes. Today, investigators say the suspect is telling them something else was at play.
But he does claim that it was not racially motivated. He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
Police say the gunman targeted 3 Atlanta area massage parlors and claims to have some kind of sex addiction. It is not clear if he frequented those targeted establishments. Authorities also say Long told them he was planning to go to Florida to launch some kind of attack on the porn industry. Of the 8 people who were killed, 6 have been identified as Asian. Hate crimes against people of Asian descent have been on the rise, prompting these comments from Vice President Kamala Harris.
But knowing the increasing level of hate crime against our Asian American brothers and sisters, we also want to speak out in solidarity with them and acknowledge that none of us should ever be silent in the face of any form of hate.
So as we said, the investigation into Aaron Long's background really just getting started, though he remains in custody, charges pending, and we expect he could be arraigned sometime tomorrow. Karen, back to you.
All right, thank you, Devin. 2 jurors have been dismissed in the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. The jurors told the judge they could not be impartial after hearing about Minneapolis's $27 million settlement with the Floyd family. The jurors, both men, said they were shocked and swayed by that settlement, especially the dollar amount. Chauvin's attorney is trying to get the case delayed because of the announcement. 7 jurors have been seated of the 14 required for trial. If you want to know more about what the governor of Michigan and state lawmakers are doing, there is a new ballot proposal in the works. Progress Michigan is working to collect 340,000 voter signatures to send a bill to the legislature. The measure would make them open to public records requests. Michigan is one of 2 states where the governor's office is exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. It's one of 8 where legislators are exempt. If enough signatures are collected, legislators could make it a law, or it might head to the 2022 ballot. We'll follow that closely. Volunteers in Michigan are cooking up lasagna like this as part of a new food movement that's sweeping the nation. It's a program that helps families affected by the pandemic, and our Paula Tutman shows us how a little lasagna love can help ease food insecurity.
That amazing aroma you're enjoying wafting across the Metro Detroit area is likely lasagna, as the national nonprofit Lasagna Love balloons in our area.
We went from 16 volunteers to now we're close to 400 volunteers in the Detroit Metro.
The organization was founded to help families food stressed by the pandemic. So whether it's a loss of a job or a loss in hours or working too many hours on the front lines, Lasagna Love was founded to give people the opportunity to help families one-on-one. For Jolie, when she found out about the organization, it struck her immediately.
Here I am sitting in my house and we're doing okay, but there's other people that aren't. And this was something easy, honestly, relatively easy that I could do. How hard is it to make a lasagna and deliver it to somebody who's in some sort of hardship, whether it's economic, a food disparity, whether they're just frontline workers or overly stressed?
Here's how it works. Volunteers sign up to make lasagna. They assume the costs and the labor. Then they are matched with families who need food.
If you are anybody that's in need, you just log into the website and fill out a request form. You'll immediately get a text message back or an email back asking you to confirm. And you have to sign a waiver because we all are home cooks. We do follow FDA guidelines as far as food safety and storage and all of that. And we're as safe as we possibly can.
The matching is done weekly, so you can make as much lasagna as you want or pop in and out as a volunteer as you're able. So it's a low barrier to help and a low barrier for need. And because families are matched, they can work out food food likes and dislikes, hot and ready to eat or frozen.
It's vegetarian or vegan or gluten-free or kosher or whatever the situation is.
And while you can't save the world, well, you can certainly help save the world, one family at a time.
It's a warm home-cooked meal. And who doesn't love having a warm home-cooked meal that you didn't have to cook?
So, you know what? Nonprofits always need volunteers, right? But this is what's interesting about this particular organization. They do want more volunteers, but they also need families to feed. At this time, Karen, they actually have more volunteers waiting to serve people. So if you know anybody who's food insecure or needs a hot meal, then of course we're going to make it very easy for you to find them. We're going to put information, you know where, on our social media platforms. So let people know. They need to get the word out, volunteer, or let us know if you know of anybody who actually wants some lasagna love.
Sounds good. And what a great program, too. If you get your kids involved, obviously you're teaching, you know, that important lesson as well. So thank you very much, Paula.
Yes.
Still ahead, targeting teen safety, Instagram rolling out some new features parents will definitely want to hear about. And the story of the vanishing village. One homeowner is probably regretting a decision he made 10 years ago. First, trouble at Disney World, why this Florida man was arrested. It is a challenge playing out in many public places. We'll explain next. And if you are just joining us, we are following the stabbing of a 13-year-old boy on Detroit's west side. We are waiting for an update on his condition. Investigators tell us they are looking for the victim's 15-year-old brother at this time. The investigation's active. We've got a crew on the scene right now. Stay with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for updates as we learn more. We'll be right back.